Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we'll be baking orange chocolate chip biscottis. And a biscotti is an Italian cookie, and biscotti just means twice baked. So it's a very simple recipe. You'll enjoy it. I'm actually going to make them kind of small so they can use it to dip into your tea or coffee, or in Italy they actually dip biscotti in a very sweet wine at the end of the meal. So why don't we get started? So all we need for this recipe is, I have here in my mixer, we're going to cream 1 stick of sugar and 3/4 cups of white sugar. We're going to go ahead and cream that. And then just cream that until it's well blended. And while that's happening, go ahead in a separate bowl, have 2 cups of all-purpose flour plus 2 tablespoons, 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then just go ahead and mix that up together. And then also go ahead and have 2 whole eggs ready to go. And then 1 cup of chocolate chips, or 6 ounces. So while this is creaming together, let's go ahead and scrape down. And we want to make sure we do this so that everything gets incorporated. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape all that down, get all the butter bits, and that's looking great. And let's go ahead, and I'm going to slowly put it on the mixer cycle. And then at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and add slowly 1 egg at a time, and then make sure that gets incorporated. Okay, that's 1. And I'm going to go ahead and beat a little bit more. And I can see that it's getting incorporated in there. And then now I'm going to add the 2nd egg. And it's turning a pale yellow, and that's what you want. The sugar, the eggs, the butter is what we call creaming. So you need to make sure you do this completely. I can say I need to scrape down a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape down, making sure all the butter, the sugar is off the sides of the bowl. It won't at the bottom. Sometimes the beater doesn't get to the bottom, so you want to make sure you do that. Scrape down your paddle. And I am using the paddle attachment for this one, not whisking. All right, let's go ahead and give it a go again. And again, because this is a chocolate orange biscotti, if you haven't figured out yet, I really love orange liqueur, and chocolate and orange always goes together perfectly. That's actually the perfect combination. And so, of course, a nod to my friend in California, my best friend, who loves orange liqueur as much as I do. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of tablespoons of some Grand Marnier, which is an orange liqueur. So at this point in time, you can do that. Oh, great sound. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 tablespoons of my Grand Marnier, or a Cointreau is also an orange liqueur. Ooh. 1, 2. Oh, that smells so divine. Okay. And let's go ahead and just stir that up and get that incorporated. Maybe I'll have you take a peek of what that looks like. It's nice and pale yellow. It's looking creamy. We want to just make sure everything is creamed together and incorporated. And it is. So we're going to go ahead and add the dry ingredients at this point. And gosh, that Grand Marnier smells so good. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape one more time, because we want to make sure everything is scraped down in the bowl. All right. I am now going to go ahead and add the dry ingredients, and again that was 2 cups of flour plus 2 tablespoons, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and then 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add that in there. Alrighty. And then start off slow. You don't want the flour to go poof all over you, especially since I'm wearing black. So let's go slow. And we just want it just to come together. We don't want to overbeat this. So I'm gonna go ahead and increase the speed. And again, it's gonna be a dough. All right, it is just now come together. I am at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and add my chocolate chips. I'm using dark chocolate because that's my favorite. If you prefer something lighter or more sweeter, you can use milk chocolate, but I really do prefer the darker chocolate. Let's do this. And we just want to do enough so that it's just mixed together. And that's it, all done. All right. So this is the type of dough that needs to rest and needs to chill for a bit, needs to chill out a bit. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and divide this dough into 2 discs. Because again, I told you that we are gonna make petite biscottis. So not big cookies, we're gonna make kind of small so that you can like savor it. So just put this away so you can see this. It's a cookie dough. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to divide this in half, and I'm gonna make 2 discs. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to chill this in the freezer for about 20 minutes so that we can handle this a little bit better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just kind of eyeballing it and take one, and I'm gonna use a plastic wrap to kind of, because it's a little sticky, to help maneuver it. This way your counter doesn't get dirty. This is kind of my trick to you, and then your hands don't get dirty. And there you go, I've got my little disc. So I'm gonna flatten that out, and then I'm gonna pop this in the freezer for 20 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll form them, and I'll show you how to bake them. So see you in 20 minutes. Welcome back. It's been 20 minutes and I've pulled the dough out of the freezer, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and form it. So what I've done is I've got a board here with some flour, and we're going to form the disc into a log. Let's see if you can see that. So right now it's a little sticky. You may need some more flour. And I'm gonna go ahead and form this. And you just wanna, it's a really nice dough, not too sticky. And you just wanna roll it into a log. I'm gonna roll it into a log. And then we're gonna flatten it out to about 2 inches in width. Do this a little bit longer. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and evenly make about 2 inches, if you can see that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and transfer it to my sheet tray. So I already went ahead and I did one, so you can have another one. Space it also about 2 inches apart on a cookie sheet with either a Silpat or parchment paper. And then what we're gonna do is pop it in the oven at 350 degrees, have that preheated, and we're gonna bake this off for 30 minutes. Again, this is gonna be a dry cookie because it's gonna be twice baked. So this is the first bake, do it at 30 minutes, and then we'll go on to the next step after that. Well, it's been 30 minutes. I pulled out the biscotti out of the oven and I let it cool for about 20 minutes. After that, I went ahead and pulled the biscotti. It's now first bake. And what we're going to do is now we're going to go ahead and cut it into the familiar shape that we're used to when we purchase or bake a biscotti. So you're going to take your log, you're going to take a serrated knife that has the edges, the teeth, and we're going to cut in a bias or in an angle. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and on an angle, we're going to go ahead and like maybe every inch, just cut the log. It's going to be a little crumbly, but that's okay. Just cut all the way through. And there you have it. So I went ahead and I did the first batch already. You can see here. And I'm going to go ahead and transfer the cut biscotti. And what you want to do is you want to do the cut side up. So we cut on the diagonal, and then we're just going to flip up and then place it on our sheet tray here. So I'll show you how we did that. So I'm taking it, flipping it, and I'm just going to put it on our sheet tray. So lower your oven to 300 degrees. It was at 350. Let's lower it to 300. And I did that while it was cooling for 20 minutes. And so now the oven temperature is now low. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to bake again for 30 minutes. And this is where the twice baked comes from. This is going to dry out the cookies, and so they're going to be a little bit harder. And you want to bake them for about 30 minutes or until golden brown or until they're pretty dry. But that's what it looks like. It looks like biscotti, and you can make it any flavor you wanted. If you just wanted it plain and leave out the Grand Marnier, you could add vanilla extract instead. If you wanted to put dry fruit instead of the chocolate chips, you can do that. This is a good base recipe to use. I just like dark chocolate and orange mixed together. I could add orange zest if I wanted to. There's a lot of things you can do to this. So it really is up to what you would like we're gonna put nuts in here. So it's very a flexible base biscotti recipe. So get creative. So let's go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and pop this into a 300 degree oven for 30 minutes, and we'll see you then. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. We did our second bake, and you just have to see this. So look at these beauties. Homemade biscotti. They're golden brown. They're dried out a little bit. The chocolate's melted in there. It smells heavenly. Oh my gosh. These will keep in an airtight container for a week if it lasts that long. But they smell great. So why don't we try them? Okay, so I went ahead and I dished me up a couple of these gorgeous beauties. And I also made me some hot tea. So why don't we go ahead and dunk them and see how they taste. So I want you to see that. See that? The chocolate's in there. It's golden brown. And like I said, typically it's something to dunk in. It is dry, so if you're expecting something chewy, it's not it. Dunk in your coffee, milk, tea. Like I said, in Italy, at the end of the meal, they'll have this as their little dessert with a very sweet wine. But I'm gonna go ahead and dunk it in my little hot beverage here. Let's try it and see what we taste. I taste the chocolate. Very slight hint of the Grand Marnier. If I did this again, I think I'd probably zest some orange in there, just because I like the orange flavor, or maybe put another shot of the Grand Marnier, but I still can taste it. But like I mentioned, you can flavor this up any way you want it. You know, if chocolate chips or dark chocolate is not your thing, white chocolate might be good, dried fruit, nuts, change the flavor profile, put some rum in there, that might be really good too. But let's, This will wake you up in the morning. If you just want a little sweet, something sweet, this is really good. A nice evening snack or dessert. So I hope you enjoyed how you can make this and how easy it was. So thanks for joining me in the kitchen again. I wish you all the best. Stay safe. I'll come up with some other things. I think I'm going to do some hot items next. But thank you for following me. Thank you for all your support. Happy cooking to you all, and I'll see you next time.